Hello. It's so wonderful to see you again as we begin a brand new journey with our Timber family. After some time away, today we return with a special story, the journey of a young man who leaves his old life behind to start fresh in a completely unfamiliar land. Step by step, he learns to build his first wooden shelter, dig a well, light a fire, and even plant his very first vegetable garden. The villagers, though strangers at first, are always ready to lend a hand with warm smiles and open hearts. The road ahead won't be easy. There will be unexpected rain, cold nights, and inevitable failures. But through those moments, he begins to realize that building a life isn't just about putting up walls and a roof. It's about creating a place where you truly feel you belong. And now, come with me and follow his every step as we witness the transformation from nothing into a place he can finally call home. He began by clearing the land, cutting grass, removing rocks, and stubborn roots. Step by step, slow but steady. Using just sticks and string to measure and mark each key point, he laid out the plan for the foundation. With little experience and no modern equipment, everything had to be done by hand. A shovel, a pickaxe, a few wooden stakes, and a machete. That was all he had. Laying the foundation turned out to be a true challenge. He dug deep holes for the support post. Each strike of the shovel was heavy and deliberate, his back straining, his hands tight, and sweat dripping from his forehead onto the earth. Sometimes, the ground was so hard it felt like stone. He would pause, breathe heavily, then push forward. In his eyes, there was no sign of giving up, only quiet determination. After completing the foundation, he moved on to the next important stage, building the house frame with wooden posts. This part of the work required both physical strength and careful attention, since the frame would support the entire structure. He personally selected each log from the nearby forest, choosing those that were straight, sturdy, and of the right length and thickness to serve as vertical supports. Back at the site, he stripped off the bark, trimmed the ends, and prepared each post for easier connection with the crossbeams later. Without machines or helpers, he worked by hand, slowly but steadily, from early morning until dusk. On the level foundation, he dug deep holes at key points, at all 4 corners and along the sides. This took considerable time and effort, as some spots had soft soil while others were almost rock hard. He set each wooden post upright, packed it firmly into place using rocks and soil, and tied it with rope to ensure it wouldn't wobble or fall over in the wind. After the house frame was completed and firmly secured, he moved on to the next step of construction, building the wooden walls. This step would give the house structure and protection, shielding it from sun, wind, and rain. He chose medium-sized wooden planks, light enough to carry, but strong enough to block the wind and help insulate the space. He carefully sawed each board to a uniform length, smoothed the surfaces, and laid them out to match the dimensions of the frame. Without power tools or screws, he used nails and a wooden hammer to attach each plank to the frame. Putting up the walls required patience, as every board needed to be straight and aligned to prevent gaps where wind or rain could seep in. Sometimes a board was warped or didn't fit right. He would remove it, adjust it, and nail it again. Though time-consuming, he stayed calm and focused, never rushing the process. With each wall completed, the house felt more closed in, more like a real shelter. As he finished the third side, he stepped back and looked at the wooden texture, the hammered nails, the dusty handprints on the planks, and thought quietly to himself, "I'm really building a place to live." After finishing the walls, he moved on to an essential part of the house, building a wooden door. A door isn't just for entering and exiting. It marks the beginning and end of each day. It's the first thing he opens in the morning and the last thing he closes at night. He chose sturdy wood with a consistent color and minimal warping. After measuring the door frame, he sought individual boards and joined them together into a rectangular shape. He carefully sanded the edges so they would fit snugly without gaps or friction. Using nails, he fastened the boards tightly, then reinforced the back with a diagonal brace to keep the door from bending over time. Next, he attached handmade hinges to the side of the door, drilled holes, and fitted the door into the house's frame. Though not as precise as a store-bought door, it opened and closed smoothly and securely. He even crafted a simple handle from an old piece of bamboo, functional and eco-friendly. When it was done, he stood in front of the wooden door with quiet satisfaction. To others, it might just be a set of wooden planks. But to him, it was the line between the outside world and a private home, a place where he could finally rest in peace after a long day. First, he leveled the ground inside the house, removing stones and roots, and spread a thin layer of sand as a base. Then, he selected thin, flat wooden planks of the right size. He sanded each one smooth and trimmed the edges so they would fit tightly together, without gaps or bumps. Starting from one corner of the house, he laid the planks horizontally, securing them with nails and small wooden supports underneath. The process required careful measuring and adjustments to keep the floor even. If a plank was warped, he either added a small wedge or shaved it down to fit. After finishing the frame and the walls, he moved on to roofing, but not just with leaves. He added a special step, covering the roof with earth. First, he built a sloped roof frame using thin bamboo or wooden poles. On top of that, he laid a thick layer of dried banana leaves, palm fronds, or bark to form the first waterproofing layer. Then, using sacks and baskets, he carried loads of loose, clean earth, free of stones and roots, from the nearby riverbank. He carefully measured the front doorway, then selected long, straight, sturdy wooden boards to build the door. He sawed and smoothed each piece, arranging them vertically. To hold them together, he fastened 2 horizontal boards and 1 diagonal support across the back, ensuring the door would remain straight over time.
Hè tắt metan hingisi tàu quan sát ấp thề doan man yu leader di hâu tàu fix ít tàu thề un lem. In si tàu linh thề đồ túc tâm, xin fg thing ua si dan bi hẳn ẩn di quát position. One in policy, hai tề si tắt ít bi opening un closing easy bi deeply, aga si ting thề lan man un tension un tin iruk smoothly.
Finally, he made a simple wooden handle from a round branch, sanding it carefully to fit comfortably in the hand. It wasn't fancy, but it was the first door he had ever built. Solid, modest, and deeply meaningful. With the frame, roof, walls, and floor of the house complete, He began thinking about how to arrange the living space inside. The first thing he decided to build was a simple wooden bed, so he could finally get proper rest after days of hard work. He selected leftover planks from the house construction. Dry, sturdy wood that wouldn't easily bend. After measuring to fit his body, he sawed the planks into legs, side rails, and support beams. He assembled the frame using nails and tied some joints with thick rope for extra stability. The bed surface was made from tightly fitted boards, ensuring a firm and steady place to lie down. The bed was plain, no paint, no mattress, but to him, it was special. The first bed he had ever built with his own hands. He laid a small woven mat on top, used a cloth sack stuffed with dry grass as a pillow, and felt surprisingly warm and comfortable. Besides the bed, he made a small wooden shelf against the wall to keep essential items. A knife, an oil lamp, a notebook, and a few daily tools. One corner of the room stored dry firewood. Another held hanging tools like a shovel, axe, and hoe. Everything was simple, neat, and practical. As he looked around the space, the bed, the shelf, the handmade items, he realized this was no longer just a shelter. It had truly become a home. After finishing the inside of the house, he turned his attention to the area outside. The patch of land in front of the door was small but overgrown with weeds and scattered stones, giving it a wild, unkempt look. So he decided to clear the grass, build a fence, and create a small yard in front of the house, both for easier access and to make the home feel warmer and more organized. First, he used a machete and hoe to cut down the tall grass and pull out the weeds by the roots. It took nearly a full day to clear the space. Then he gathered the debris into small piles and burned it. Once the ground was cleared, he picked out the rocks, leveled the soil, and swept it clean with a handmade broom, revealing a simple, neat little yard. Next, he built a fence around the yard using bamboo to mark the boundary and also to keep wild animals from wandering too close to the house. He cut the bamboo from the nearby forest, stripped off the sharp edges, and planted the posts in a straight line. He tied each one with rope to form a sturdy, rustic fence that blended naturally into the environment. Once everything was done, he placed a small wooden stool on the porch. In the afternoon, he sat there, looking out at the yard he had just made, feeling the soft breeze and listening to the birds. In that quiet moment, he realized life doesn't need to be fancy. Sometimes a clean yard, a simple fence, and a solid roof are all you need to call a place home. After many days of tireless work, each part of the house slowly came together. From the foundation, the wooden frame, walls, and earth-covered roof, to the wooden floor, the front door, the yard, and the bamboo fence. Every detail, every small corner of the house carried the mark of sweat, calloused hands, and unwavering determination. His peaceful shelter is finally complete. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't need to be fancy. But it is a space he built with his own two hands. A place to live, to rest, and to begin a new life in the simplest way possible. It's not just a house. It's the result of patience, creativity, and belief. And from this place, a new journey will begin, with sunlight, with wind, and with slow, meaningful days ahead. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. From the very first day of digging the foundation, building the frame, covering the roof, to completing every small detail like laying the floor, making a bed, building a fence, and creating the little yard out front.